Hi again, step-by-step farming family. Today we are going to be growing potatoes in a container. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm glad you're back. I've got my helper here. She is always ready to help me to plant some stuff, right? I just appreciate her so much. Anyway, today we are going to be planting potatoes in containers. And I want to show you what I've got right now. You can use any container. You can use a Tupperware container. You can use a trash can. You can use a 5-gallon bucket. Something that that's going to have some drainage to it, so you want to make sure, you know, if you use a 5-gallon bucket or if you use a trash can, you want to drill some holes around the side to allow some, you know, the drainage, because you don't want, if it starts to rain and so forth, you don't want your potatoes to get like soppy, you know, waterlogged or anything like that. Or it will die. That's right. I'm using this here that I've just kind of had this sitting around for a long time. I didn't buy it, but like I said, whatever you all have available. It's just one of these like old farm wicker produce baskets. And I've already put some soil in here, okay? And I'll tell you just real quick that two really important things that are essential for growing potatoes is the soil and also potassium. Now, I've done a video previously in the past that you all can watch if you want, and I tried growing potatoes in a trash can, and it did not really do very well, and I had no idea why. And I think it was because of the soil and the lack of potassium that I had. So I want to try it again, and prayerfully it will be completely different than it was before. All right, so you want to have loose soil. Let's talk about the soil real quick. You want your soil to be loose. You don't want it to be like a really hard, compact potting soil, because it's not going to allow your roots and your tubers and things to kind of grow. So for example, I'm going to just show you, I'm going to just lift this up real quick. You want to have it where your soil, if you squeeze it, your soil will stay together. I don't know if you can see that, but if you just very loosely move it around, it'll fall apart, just like that. Okay, let me show you again. Squeeze it, it stays together, but if you move it around, it's going to fall apart. And that's the kind of the consistency that you want to have. So some of you all maybe say, well, what kind of soil are you using? What am I supposed to get? Okay, so let me just tell you what I'm using, and we can just go from there. So I'm using a potting soil, but it is a gardening soil, and from what I've read, gardening soils are kind of made in a way where it's a lot looser. So that's what I have. So I'll show you what I have, and if I'm able to, I'll just put a link in the bottom of some of the things that I'm using in case any of you all are interested and you want to just go look. Okay, so this is the potting soil that I have. So it's a dark, rich soil, but it's a very loose soil, okay? The other thing that I'm using is called, well, it's called Root Farm, but it's a cocoa coir and a perlite mixed together. And cocoa coir is basically coconut husk, okay? And then it's got some perlite in it. And if you can see this, it is a super, super loose soil, but it does contain this absorbent of water, which is really nice. So that's what I have in my soil primarily. Those are the two mixtures that I have. Now I am going to add a couple of other things that I'm hoping will help. The other thing I am going to use is earthworm castings. And some of you all are probably like, what is an earthworm casting? What is that? Basically, it is worm fertilizer, okay? And and it's actually, if you've ever had a garden and you see a lot of worms, that's a good thing, because if you have a lot of worms, that's really, really good for your soil. They help to aerate it, but also their castings or their fertilizer helps to fertilize the plants. So I went ahead and bought this, and to be honest with you, I plan to try to research and learn how to just grow my own worm castings myself, and that way I have it, you know, I just have it and I don't have to spend any money. The whole purpose of the videos that I'm trying to put out is to try to help people to learn how to be more self-sufficient and not have to spend a lot of money, and to learn how to do stuff on your own. So as far as the worm fertilizer, I will add that to the top, and you don't need to put a lot in there. A bag does go a long way, and I'll show you. Here, let me put the camera down for a second. Down here, I don't know if you guys can see, but this is, you only need to put enough, you know, just to kind of cover a little bit of the top area. I'd say, I don't have like a measurement because, you know, I can't say a half a cup. I guess you could say a half a cup maybe you might want to put in there. It's not very much. And so what I'll do is I would just take it and I'll just mix it up really good. Now when you put your soil into your container, you only want to put it in about 2 to 3 inches deep, which is about this deep on y'all. Okay, 2 to 3 inches. I don't know if y'all can see it. All right, and so I've got my soil just kind of spread out, and it's about 2 to 3 inches. The next thing I want to show you, and I want to explain, so we talked about the soil. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the potassium. Now, this is not a chemistry class, all right? So I'm not going to go in depth about potassiums and nitrogen and phosphorus and all that other stuff, okay? Because I don't even understand it myself, to be honest with you. But what I do know from reading is that potatoes need a lot of potassium, a lot of potassium. And you may be able to go to your local garden and center store and find, you know, where you can get a high amount. How high, I am not for sure. And I'll be honest with you, but you want a high amount of potassium, higher than all the other nutrients that they need, like the nitrogen and so forth. But if you do not find any, another source that you can get potassium, high amounts of potassium, is wood ash. And wood ash is exactly what it sounds like. It is ash from burning wood. Okay, so if you have a fireplace, if you have a wood burning stove, if you, like in our case, we have like a fire pit in our backyard, just grab, you know, scoop some of that out, and you want to put, you know, a fair amount, but light to fair amount along the top. So I'm going to have my daughter to kind of spread some of this out, and I'll be showing you all. Here, take this, and just what you're gonna want to do. Let me see if I can bring it down for everybody. Is you're gonna want to kind of just spread it out a little bit. Don't dump it in there. There you go. Okay, that's great right there. Okay, so that's probably enough potash or wood ash to put in there. All right, and so all you have to do with that, let's see if I can get this up, there you go, is we are going to just kind of spread that around. You want to get you don't care about getting your fingers dirty?
I don't.
She doesn't care about getting her fingers dirty, guys. She's my helper, so she likes to do dirty work. Okay, just kind of mix it up, actually. Yeah, that's good.
Mix it up like this?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Just like that. That's perfect. Okay, now spread it out. Very good. Okay, last thing. You have your tubers, your potatoes. I don't know why my camera wants to seem to move around so much. Sorry, guys. Okay, so you have your tubers, your potatoes, just like this. And I bought mine from a local garden store, or like a local like farm store or something like that. And when you plant your potatoes, you want to make sure that they have these eyes. You know, these are seeds, and you want to make sure they have the eyes. I don't know if you guys have like ever bought potatoes from the store and haven't used them for like a long time, and then you realize, oh, I got potatoes back here, let's eat some potatoes, and you go in, you realize they look like this. Well, that's where that is. This is good though. This is what you want to plant. Now the potatoes from the store without any of these, I don't think it's going to work, because sometimes they spray the potatoes to the point where it keeps them from developing this, okay? But if you can find some potatoes or with the seeds, you could, if you wait a long time, then they will probably eventually grow. You don't want to put too many potatoes in a container. So my suggestion, for example, if you were going to use like maybe a 5-gallon bucket, I would maybe put 1, maybe 2 in there, because you don't want to overcrowd your potatoes. I'm going to probably put 3 in mine because it's a lot wider and the volume is a little bit more than 5 gallons. So hold these for me, babe. So let me go back over. We have all of our soil. We have our potassium in there. Our soil is not real compact. We have our potassium. If you have fertilizer, I put worm casting fertilizer in there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the potatoes. Is that the one that, go ahead.
This looks like a moose antler.
Say it louder.
This looks like the moose's antlers.
She says it looks like a moose's antlers. Put it up closer to the... I guess it does. That's so funny. Okay, so you want to take your potatoes. When you put your potatoes in, very, very, very important. Listen, very important. You want to put them in with the eyes, or with these things pointing up. You do not want to put them in like this, as if their roots going into the ground. Put them upside down, because this is what's going to grow up into the dirt. Okay, so you want to put, I'm going to put 3 in here. So I'm going to put 1. Go ahead.
So which way do you want me to do them?
Okay, so the eyes point up.
But there's 3 on each side.
Okay, so let's say, okay, so she has a good question. She says, so there's 3 on each side. How do you point it? How do you put it in? This way, this way, this way? I would put it in, let's see if I can get closer. This is a great question. I would put it in this way. I don't know if y'all can see it, because you have eyes going that way, and that way, okay? So this bottom part doesn't have anything on it. So I would put it in with this part facing down.
Now if there was one like right here, I would put it in like either like this or like...
Or you could maybe just take one of those eyes off and put it in there. It's not going to hurt. Okay, so go ahead and put 1 right here. Put 1 right there. Yep. Yeah, that's great. That's good. And then you want to put, and I'll show you guys what it looks like here. Let me put it down. Okay, go ahead.
Right here?
Yep, that's good right there. Okay, so if you all can see, hopefully, I have the tubers pointing upwards with the eyes right here. And then the last thing you want to do, which is super easy, is you want to cover your potatoes with a little bit more soil. So I happen to have just some extra soil here, and I'm going to let my daughter cover it up. You don't want to move it around. All you want to do is just kind of cover the potatoes up. So hold this, and I'm going to grab the camera so that they can see. Go ahead. Oh, you could just pour it on top if you want. Just kind of, yeah. Yep, cover all of it. Yep, just go and pour it on there. Yep. Okay, perfect. And then all you have to do is just cover this. Now, potatoes will need a lot of sun. They're going to need, the one thing about potatoes, guys, let me see, sorry, is that they're going to need a lot of sun. So make sure they get at least 8 to 10 hours of sun. That's a lot of sun. Also, as far as watering, you want to make sure that they have plenty of water, but not too much water. So for example, if you're not for sure, just kind of put your hand in there and kind of feel maybe a couple of inches. If it feels damp, I'd leave it alone. If it's really dry, then you want to go ahead and water it. Now what will happen, and I'll put some updates, hopefully it will grow, is that you will begin to see green plants coming out of your soil. Once the plants start coming, you want to put more soil on top of that. So you want to continue to cover, you want to maybe leave just a little bit of the plants poking out, but you want to continue to cover the potato plant as it grows. I don't know if that makes any sense. As it grows, you want to continue to cover the plant as it starts to poke through the dirt. All right. And potatoes probably will take about it would take about 3 months, 3 to maybe 4 months before you can actually harvest your potatoes. So just kind of keep an eye on it, make sure it stays moist, make sure it gets plenty of sun, and let's watch our potatoes grow. What I actually planted in mine is red potatoes. So we'll see. Well, I want you guys to try it. See if you can find some potatoes or potato seeds. Find a container, get some soil, put it in there, guys. Give it plenty of sun, and let's grow some food. All right. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful, and stay tuned for more and great, exciting things. Talk to you later.